Why the northern part of Africa, Maghreb, is made up of white people. It is natural to talk about black skin-toned indigenous individuals when we think about Africa, as ancient archives, both historically and archaeologically, present Africans as black individuals. This is mostly the case, but the north of Africa has a different presentation of her indigents, as the majority of Africans in the northern part of Africa, also known as the Maghreb, tend to be white-skinned. Amongst the 54 sovereign states of Africa, a few which are located in the northern hemispheres have the majority of white skin-toned individuals. And the presence of this disparity is what makes us ponder on why the northern part of Africa, the Maghreb, is made up of white people. The Maghreb, also known as Northwest Africa or the Arab Maghreb, is the western part of North Africa and the Arab world. Countries in the Maghreb region include Algeria, Libya, Mauritania, also considered part of West Africa, Morocco, and Tunisia. The Maghreb also includes the disputed territories of Western Sahara and the cities of Ceuta and Melilla, which both belong to Spain. As of 2018, the region had a population of over 100 million people. Hello explorers, welcome to the Explore and thanks for watching. In this video, we are looking at why is the northern part of Africa, also known as the Maghreb, made up of white people. If you're new here, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications in order not to miss out on any of our subsequent videos. Pre-colonial era of the Maghreb. To begin with, not all the countries in the north of Africa belong to the Maghreb, and only those in the Maghreb have a distinct white populace feature than other northern African parts. There is the Maghreb, which was named so by the Arabs, the Sahara, and the Sahel. However, the countries of North Africa share a common ethnic, cultural, and linguistic identity with the Middle East or West Asia, and is unique to this region as compared to Sub-Saharan Africa. Before French colonization of the Maghreb or Northwest Africa, the territory was inhabited by Berbers and some Phoenicians since the beginning of recorded history, around AD 600. As recently as the late 19th century, the term Maghreb was used to refer to the western Mediterranean region of coastal North Africa in general, and to Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia in particular. During the rule of the Berber Kingdom of Numidia, the region was somewhat unified as an independent political entity. The indigents were all black-skinned people. The natives of the Maghreb have resisted successive Punic, Roman, and Christian invasions, but not until the 7th and 8th centuries, when the Maghreb was conquered, and the Arabs imposed on the native peoples the religion of Islam and Arabic, the language of Quran, thus absorbing the Maghreb into Muslim civilization. Despite this absorption, most of the North African societies have preserved their cultural identity throughout the centuries. The people of the Maghreb belong to both Berber and Arab ethno-linguistic groups. The Berbers, black-skinned individuals, are descended from the earlier inhabitants of the region and may trace their ancestry to Paleolithic times. Many other groups have invaded the area, including the Phoenicians, the Arabs, and the French. About 1/6 of the population of the Maghreb still speak one of the Berber languages, with most of them in Algeria and Morocco, but most also speak some form of Arabic. Invasion of the Maghreb by the Romans and Arabs. Between the AD 600s and 1000s, Arabs from the Middle East swept across the region in a wave of Muslim conquest. These peoples, physically quite similar, formed a single population in many areas, as Berbers and Egyptians merged into Arabic and Muslim culture. The process of Arabization and Islamization has defined the cultural landscape of North Africa ever since. A major factor in the transitioning from the black-skinned Berber dominated by Maghreb, to a more foreign influence was based on the Roman Empire's rule. Things began to take a different turn when the Germanic Vandals invaded the region. An equally brief re-establishment of Roman rule was set up by the Byzantine Empire. It was a brief sojourning of the Romans as the Islamic Caliphate came to power under the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid Caliphate, and the Fatimid Caliphate, and the invasion by the Ottoman Empire for a period, as they also controlled parts of the region. As a result of this invasion, the vast indigenous population were forced to move down south and create other settlements, while others were taken captive as slaves and deported to other regions, and a few yet stayed back. Since the Romans and Arabs invaded with their cultures as well, there was an intermingling of societal, cultural, and religious lifestyles. The Romans brought in Roman Catholicism as a form of Christianity. The Arabs from Asia brought in Islamism, while some of the leftover Berber population retained their ancient traditions and customs. European influence on the modern era of the Maghreb region. After the 19th century, areas of the Maghreb were colonized by France, Spain, and later Italy. European explorers attracted by the accounts of ancient geographers or Arab geographers of the classical period followed the routes by the nomadic people of the vast empty space. They documented the names of the stopping places they discovered or rediscovered, described landscapes, took a few climate measurements, and gathered rock samples. Gradually, a map began to fill in the white population. Today, more than 2.5 million Maghrebi immigrants live in France, many from Algeria and Morocco. In addition, as of 1999, there were 3 million French of Maghrebi origin, defined as having at least one grandparent from Algeria, Morocco, or Tunisia. A 2003 estimate suggests 6 million French residents were ethnic Maghrebi. The Maghreb is primarily inhabited by peoples of Berber ancestral origin. Berbers are autochthonous to Algeria, 80%, Libya, greater than 60%, Morocco, 80%, and Tunisia, greater than 88%. Ethnic French, Arab, West African, and Sephardic Jewish populations also inhabit the region. This mix gives an overall presentation of the Maghrebi population as white individuals with fewer blacks. Various other influences are also prominent throughout the Maghreb. In northern coastal towns in particular, several waves of European immigrants influenced the population in the medieval era. Most notable were the Moriscos and Mulades, that is, the indigenous Spaniards known as the Moors, who were forcibly converted to Catholicism and later expelled, together with ethnic Arab and Berber Muslims during the Spanish Catholic Reconquista. Other European contributions included French, Italian, and English crews and passengers taken captive by corsairs. In some cases, they were returned to families after being ransomed. In others, they were used as slaves or assimilated and adopted into tribes. Influence of the Trans-Saharan slave trade. Sub-Saharan Africans joined the population mix during centuries of Trans-Saharan trade. Traders and slaves went to the Maghreb from the Sahel region. On the Saharan southern edge of the Maghreb are small communities of black populations, sometimes called Haratine. They appear to have descended from black populations who inhabited the Sahara during its last wet period and then migrated north as it turned to desert. As such, while the original indigents moved down south for fear of Roman conquest and Arabic slavery, some Africans from the sub-Saharan territories moved into the north as a result of trans-Saharan slave trade. In Algeria especially, a large European minority, known as Pieds Noirs, immigrated to the region, settling under French colonial rule in the late 19th century. They established farms and businesses. The overwhelming majority of these, however, left Algeria during and following the War of Independence. The Maghreb is home to 1% of the global population as of 2010. Influence of foreign languages and cultures. The people of the Maghreb and the Sahara regions speak Berber languages and several varieties of Arabic, and almost exclusively follow Islam. As the Arabs and other European powers invaded, they came along with their cultures, languages, and even political systems, which had a great deal of influence in the Maghreb. The Arabic and Berber languages are distantly related, both being members of the Afro-Asiatic language family. The Tuareg Berber languages are notably more conservative than those of the coastal cities. Over the years, Berbers have been influenced by the contact with other cultures: Greeks, Phoenicians, Egyptians, Romans, Vandals, Arabs, Europeans, and then Africans. The cultures of the Maghreb and the Sahara therefore combine indigenous Berber, Arab, and elements from neighboring parts of Africa and beyond. This has contributed largely to the predominantly white population in Northwest Africa, as annually many more foreigners get permanent settlements in the Maghreb region. Conclusion: in today's era, we find a mostly white population in the Maghreb region, who are results of diverse conquest successes from European powers, as well as the Arabs. And these individuals, spread across the different nations in the Maghreb, have intermingled with the ancient Berber communities, and finally have become one and the same people. Would you have wished for all the Maghreb countries and all other parts of Africa to be black-skinned today, or white as they are now? Let us know in the comment section, and the best comment will be pinned. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share with your friends.